What is going on, my dudes, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. It is Wednesday, which means it is time for some Marvel Comics. The biggest event of the year currently ongoing. We are jumping into X-Men issue number 14, the tie-in to Judgment Day. The X-Men team that we are given, they are newly elected, and we have already seen them show out a little bit in the last issue of the X-Men, because while they are in the midst of battle with the Eternals, this does not mean that there are not more external threats. We have still yet to see what Nimrod and Orcus are doing in this whole scheme of things. There's a lot of unanswered questions, but more than anything, we are highlighting our new X-Men team, seeing them at their full potential. This team is freaking stacked, and we are going to see how well that plays out throughout this issue. And if matters really couldn't get any worse, all of humanity is about to be threatened with judgment. Captain America has already been judged. Now it is time that we see the judgment of Cyclops. Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we jump into this tie-in, this one is going to be heavily focused on Iceman. Now, over the course of the last year or two, we have really seen Iceman come into his own. Being an Omega level mutant, we have truly seen his abilities, seen how powerful he can be and how big he can go. This issue is going to be no exception of that. And so this story, it really starts us off with a reporter and her editor. She has just recently wrote an article about how Iceman has saved the world. Even though they have impending doom, Iceman is still out here doing everything he can to help people. Now, inside of this article, the reporter does mention that he is a gay superhero, and the editor would like her to take this out of it, saying why does it matter because it doesn't help the story. The reality is that there was a very big threat to the sun. Tons of people were at risk, and this crisis was averted because of Iceman. That him being gay has absolutely nothing to do with that story, and I think it's a very clever way that she is doing this in her writing. Now, we're gonna see this play out through the end of the issue. When I first read through it, I agreed with the editor. Him being gay has nothing to do with the story, but once you get to the end, it makes sense. It's not something that is forced or being pushed on anybody or what any of the haters might say to it. And I promise you, if you stick through to the end, you're gonna find out exactly why this is so important to add into this article. You may still disagree, and that's gonna be okay. And so to understand why she wrote this story in this manner, we have to jump back to earlier in the day. Sitting at the edge of the sun, we have an alien race coming in and shooting some kind of missile directly into our sun. They are unaware that Game World has been disbanded. They think they are about to cash in huge by taking out Earth. The end goal for this situation is to have the star collapse, believing that they are about to be filthy rich. That is when Cyclops and Magic show up right on their deck, letting them know that they truly are busy with some celestial business and they would like to end this confrontation as quickly as possible. And so Magic, she only asks one time, what did you dive into our sun? What was inside that missile and what is about to happen? These guys obviously not knowing who they're dealing with, thinking that they have them outnumbered, all of them having metal helmets on their head. Cyclops, using his vision, knocks all of them off in one blast. This is when they start to recognize this was probably a bad idea, giving up the information that they are seeking relatively quickly. We learn that there is a fire generator inside the sun. This is meant to shoot off solar flares and completely bake all of the surface of Earth. Recognizing this to be an extinction level event, Cyclops gets a hold of Jean Grey. And Jean Grey, she is working at maximum effort right now. Not only are they trying to hold off the internal invasion, she is also being used as a communicator between the X-Men team, transferring and uploading data, images, everything everything that the X-Men team need to know from one another. After hearing everything that she had from Cyclops, this is when she calls in Iceman, letting him know that there is another front opening up, and that this is coming directly from their sun, shooting Iceman up into the atmosphere, being taken all the way up to orbit. He sees this solar flare headed directly for Earth. To be able to stop it, he is going to have to create the biggest ice sculpture, if you will, that he has ever created. A giant shield that is going to take a huge brunt of this blast. He also lets Jean Grey know that him creating something this massive outside of the orbit, it is eventually going to come crashing down. Gravity will have its effect. With how thick this ice has to be, this could be yet another hazard all to itself. Not an extinction level, but it could very easily take out an entire city. And so that is where Firestar is really going to play her part in this whole battle, because when that ice does come falling out of the sky, it is going to be her responsibility to try and make it as small as possible, to turn it more into hell than anything else. As time begins to run out, having only 2 minutes left until this solar flare reaches them, we have Iceman working with all of his effort to try and build this shield, starting to already feel the gravitational pull start to pull this giant shield out of the sky. We also see Cyclops and Magik going to the International Space Station, hopping on board, grabbing the astronauts, and getting them back down to Earth, because the space station is more than likely going to be taken out in all of the debris. And so with Magik getting all of them to safety, the solar flare hits his shield. Iceman using every bit of his ability to ensure it holds long enough to stop the flare. Looking up to the sky, there is a giant explosion. The outer edge of the flare has been deflected, but there is also more on the way. And then we have Firestar, who is out here trying to take down as many of the ice pieces as she possibly can. Not really sure if she is able to stop all of the debris on her own. We have Sync and Rogue, who are connecting to Jean Grey. The three of them show up on site, and they help clear out whatever is remaining. As the rest of the plasma bolt comes from the sun, Iceman recognizes that he's gotta use more ice. Using every bit of his Omega level power, he is able to hold off this blast, but he goes falling from the sky. As he falls, this is when he runs into Firestar. The two of them together, fire and ice. They take out whatever remaining pieces of ice that are not going to melt up in the atmosphere. And the day has been saved. And not only was it saved, but they did it in style, having a giant rainbow go across the sky. As the two of them head over to the Krakoan gate, a reporter quickly stops Bobby. Now, at first, Iceman, he has no intention of saying anything to the reporter. But more than anything, mutant kind, they kinda need some good publicity. We'll actually talk more about that in the new issue of X-Force. Because with the news coming out that they have Resurrection, there are a lot of humans that are not happy with mutants. But Bobby does have something to say. And so Iceman, not wasting any time, he gets directly into it. We go through his history. We know at the school that he grew up in, Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. And throughout their time at the school, most of them were told to hold back their abilities, to be reserved, because in a world that hated them, there is no way that they could let loose their full potential. But in bottling up not only his mutant powers, but everything about himself, believing that having to hide his mutant ability has led to him having to hide other things in his life. Always having to pretend to be something that he's not, something that he would never be. Because in the early days, there was such an emphasis on trying to fit in, on coexisting. And while he still believes in coexisting, he doesn't want to dance to the beat of somebody else. And he has finally decided that he is not going to hide himself anymore, because he was never normal, and he is not looking for anybody to congratulate them or say thank you. But after all of this time, he walks around as a giant ice cube, because while he can look normal, while he can look like everybody else, he does this for the mutants that can't look normal. And he truly doesn't want to look normal. He just wants to be who he is. and that is a mutant. That is a gay man, hoping that just maybe he can save some young mutants and maybe some young humans not only time but also grief, letting them know not to wait on who you are. Don't be ashamed of who you believe yourself to be. Thanking the reporter, Iceman heads out. Now we're gonna talk more about this whole little interview at the end of the comic, but picking back up in present day, the reporter more or less is saying that she wants it to be printed as is, or she doesn't want to write the article at all. And after hearing his interview, I have to agree with it, because mutant kind is facing so much right now. They know exactly what it means to be discriminated against, to have to hide who you are. And while him being a gay superhero, it may not matter to everybody, there are those that it will matter to, those that it will inspire. And so as he agrees to let this stay inside the article, we are taken up to the Arctic. We have the progenitor, our celestial that is passing judgment, and today he is passing judgment on Cyclops. This is when Cyclops comes up and he has a conversation. This conversation more or less saying that he doesn't care about the Celestial's judgment, that he knows he will be judged, but he does not recognize the Celestial's authority. Also saying that he requests a change of venue. And even the Celestial, he's a little hesitant. He's like, what are you talking about? Cyclops goes on to say that the only person alive who can judge him is Jean Grey, and if the Celestial would like to meet her, he can definitely arrange that for them. Maybe he'll take a scolding from his teammates, the Xmen, but at the end of the day, he doesn't care what the Celestial has to say. And so, he passes his judgment. Cyclops of Krakoa, he is judged to be good. Cyclops letting him know that if you keep that thumb up, we won't have to meet again. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so we're gonna talk about the big thing that a lot of people are probably not gonna be happy about. I'm sure I'm gonna see in the comments that this is political or they don't like the gay agenda being pushed, whatever the case may be. But I think this was a very strong message for Iceman to put out to the world. Because the X-Men comics, they have always been about facing discrimination. Mutant kind has been facing it for as long as they have existed. Iceman just understands this on two different fronts, because even if he were to pretend to be normal, pretend to be just a regular average day human, he still grew up dealing with the fact that he felt like he had to hide him being a gay individual. And for the era that he grew up in, it makes absolute sense. You know, being gay, it wasn't widely accepted until even I was in high school when I think it really started to become more accepted. And even then, it wasn't really accepted for gay men. More than anything, Iceman and this comic as a whole, it's saying stop being so judgmental. Yes, I'm putting this message out there that I'm a mutant, I'm a gay man, but this shouldn't offend you. This shouldn't make you mad. Learn to coexist. Learn to stop being so judgmental that if what I'm saying isn't for you, that is okay, because there is someone out there that is saying what you want to hear, that is going to lift you up, that is going to inspire you. I really do think the message was conveyed in a great way, and it's also some great character development for Iceman. Now, Cyclops. I thoroughly enjoyed Cyclops and the Celestial having their conversation, because Cyclops, he's not scared of the Celestial. At the end of the day, he is coming to let the Celestial know you can pass your judgment on me all you like, but the truth is, I don't care. But what he also wants the Celestial to see is the good in this world. The truth is, there is so much good. There is so much hope. I also find it very entertaining that Captain America, he got a thumbs down, while Cyclops, he got a thumbs up. Now, we've already seen the spectrum that the Celestial is passing judgment on. Captain America, he didn't fail because he's a bad person. He failed because for over a century, it has been his job and duty to make the world a better place, to make America a better place. And at least from the outside looking in, it looks like things are in shambles. Now, of course, this isn't the case, but this is something that is going to have to be proven to the Celestial if they want to pass judgment, if they want to survive through the next 24 hours. And the next issue, it looks like the X-Men are headed to the Vault. This is going to be very interesting because we haven't seen anything on the Children of the Vault since Synch had found himself there with Wolverine, spending centuries there. Synch is actually one of the wisest and oldest individuals to currently be on the battlefield. So I am very interested on seeing how that's going to tie in to everything going on with Judgment Day. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything going on with this series, everything going on with Judgment Day, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to take you to a link that gets you completely caught up on everything going on with this event. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by hitting the super thanks button. This button will let you donate directly to the channel, and every little bit helps us out. Now if you can't do that, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you like this video, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.